Well, gals, it's finally happened. My greatest fears have come to pass. Hello and welcome to Sobriety Snippets for Ambitious Women over 40. That would be you and me, gals. I'm Becca Jacobson, and I have a snippet for you, but it's not like any other snippet we've done before. But in the meantime, before we get started on that, for the new gals, if you're new here in Snippet Land, yes, this is what we call Snippet Land. It's a whole ecosystem. I'm Becca Jacobson, and I'm here to deliver 10 to 15, well, sometimes we creep into the 20-minute range, episodes, snippets, as we like to call them, full of stories, inspiration, strategy, motivation, and that general feeling of, guess what, you're not alone if you're over 40, struggling with alcohol, basically able to do everything else in your life but give up alcohol. That's what we do here. And you found your way here, and that makes me very, very happy. However, this is a key episode. This is a red letter episode. That's what they call special days, red letter days. This is a red letter episode. Take a deep breath, gals. You ready? Okay. My biggest fear has come to pass. And what is my biggest fear? Well, after over 500 episodes, my biggest fear is that I'll run out of things to say. My husband even asked me when I told him, yeah, I've hit 500 episodes. He was like, what do you talk about? What the hell? And you know what? I don't talk much. You might find that hard to believe. I'm actually a very quiet, introverted person for the most part. I don't talk much when I'm in a group. I'm the quiet one. And I know, right? Totally hard to believe. So he's like, I don't know what you talk about on that show. Of course he could listen, but, nah, not going to bother. Anyway, so the question becomes, what happens if I run out of things to say? This is a fearful thing, a worry, as it will. A worry, gals. It was a worry I had. And today, here I am, September 29th. I'm like, it's Monday. I need a mindset Monday. I need a snippet for the gals. And I'm just a blank. I got nothing. I'm just like, what? Snippet? What's a snippet? I don't know. The brain is dead. So I turn on the microphone and I see, well, maybe something will pop up. And it did. Guess what happened? Guess what happened when I started thinking along those lines? Here's what happened. Number one, I don't worry. I honestly don't, gals. I used to worry, but I don't do it anymore. So the truth is, I wasn't worried about running out of things. I just said that. Yes, I lied. Was it my biggest fear? No. Because I know something, and you know it too if you've been listening for a while. I know that the things we fear will come to us. Fear attracts the thing that we are afraid of. So, of course, I never think about, gee, what if I run out of things to say? I've never had that thought. Never. My husband might have said it, but I just shrug and smile, knowing that when I take my deep breath, say a little prayer and ask for inspiration, it will come. And it always does. But I thought I'd play with you today. So we're just playing with the idea of running out of things to say. But it did bring up some ideas, and two of them are right there staring us smack in the face. Number one, worry. Number two, fear. So since last Monday, we finished our book study of James Allen's As a Man Thinketh. And I mentioned to you, we're going to take a little gap between the now and the next book study, but we're going to dedicate Mondays to mindset. Mindset Monday. And so let's talk about fear and worry in terms of mindset and what it can do to your life. Well, I've already mentioned it, haven't I? Number one, there is no doubt, absolutely no doubt, it's been proven that what we fear, the things we fear, if we think about something with fear, oh, what if this happens? What if? The general what if, which will attract that thing into our lives. Our emotions are magnetic. So the emotion of fear brings about fearful circumstances, people that are fearful, other fearful things that we're afraid of. We draw it to us by feeling fear. And worry is just tangled right up in there. I mean, how do you separate fear from worry? You really can't. So to worry about something almost always means we're afraid something's going to happen. the what if syndrome, right? And in that case, the same thing happens. We draw it to us. So the mindset shift for today on this Mindset Monday is, what are you afraid of and what are you worrying about? Today, I want you to take action. I want you to pick up your pen and write down one thing you're afraid of and one thing you're worrying about. Just write it down, just a sentence for each, and then look at it. Stand up, put it on a piece of paper at the table, and then write it down, and then stand up, put the shoulders back, take a nice deep breath, close the eyes, exhale, and then look down at that piece of paper with fresh eyes and look at the two things you wrote there, the fear and the worry. And they're probably very similar or in some way tied together. Look at that piece of paper. Look at those things from a different point of view. Look at them as though it's not your fear, it's not your worry, it's someone else's. Let's say your best friend or your daughter or someone you love. Could be a son, doesn't have to be a daughter. Says to you, I'm afraid of this and I'm worried about that. What would you say? Well, I know one thing you would say. You would point out how worry never helps. We know that. Look, we know how to say the stuff. I am not telling you something you've never heard before. Oh, I didn't realize, Becca, that worry never helps. No one ever told me. I thought worry was healthy and that if I did it enough, it would keep my life in order. No, you're not thinking that. You know that worry's bad. I mean, come on, right? And you also know that fear doesn't help. But that doesn't mean we don't do it. And so here's a nice reminder for you. Write down what you're fearing right now. Write down what you're worrying about right now. And then imagine yourself as an objective second person seeing that fear and that worry coming from a friend or a loved one. And what would you say to them? What would you say? Then sit down again and write down your answer. You will be surprised what happens. This is how we access the inner coach. We step back and we know. You don't need me to tell you. Fear ain't going to help. Worry ain't going to help. You already know that, but you are worried. You are fearful. It's natural. It's just the way it is, right? Until we get a handle on these things. So sit down, write it down, stand up, take a deep breath, exhale, and then look down at that sheet of paper and your eyeballs will see it different. You will see that fear and that worry differently and you'll realize, oh, wait a minute, there's nothing to back that up or whatever. I don't want to give you the realization. Something will come and you'll feel better. You will feel as though you've been advised by a wiser woman, and you have been. It's called your intuition. It's called your inner coach. So today, the reminder is fear and worry. Watch out for them, babe. Take a close look at what you're fearing. Look at what you're worrying about, because you will draw them to you and make your life just that much more unhappy. Now, of course, I could take a guess about what you're worried about. Let's see. How about you're worried about alcohol destroying your health? How about you're worried about trying to quit and failing again? You're worried about your career because your drinking is getting out of hand. These are really common worries for those of us who can't stop drinking, right? So there you go. You're not alone, are you? These were my worries for years and years and years. I'm like, where is this going to end? Where does it end? This is just ridiculous. Where does this end? How does this end? I don't know how this ends, but it's got to be disaster. That's for sure. Well, I was wrong, wasn't I? Of course, the end felt like disaster. I mean, an 8-day blackout, which was my end, did feel like a disaster. Like, I knew it. I knew it was going to end in disaster. I just went into an 8-day blackout. That's a disaster. But it turned out to be a gift from God, which is another thing we like to talk about around here, don't we? How difficult situations are there to teach us something, to help us grow, to help us make the move we need to make. And that's what happened to me. And that's what will happen to you. So, gals, I don't know if a thread came out through this. I know it did. Fear and worry mindset. But honestly, when I turned on the microphone, I wanted to play with you, and it led to the idea of fear and worry. And I love it. I love how that happens. And yes, that's how this happens. No, I don't have a script. No, I don't plan the episodes and write them out. I honestly just have an idea, pops into my head, and I start talking. And I let it happen. Oh, don't forget, though, I always say a prayer first, always take a breath first. My prayer is simple. It's literally 5 seconds. Guide me. Take a breath. guide me, turn it on, because you're there on the other end and I want guidance, right? I'm not going to do this alone, for crying out loud. On Saturday, 2 days ago, I shared with you that it was my 60th birthday and that my goal in my 60s is to get closer to God, closer to my creator, to get a closer relationship with whatever's inside of me and be guided by that even more and more and more. And so that's what I do. And it's such a beautiful thing when I can relax and exhale, ask for guidance, turn on the microphone. Something always comes out that's helpful. Thank you, because that is a blessing. So I say thank you for the inspiration and thank you for the privilege of speaking to these women. Gals, thanks for coming. Thanks for being in Snippet Land. Today, I'm going to ask you to do one thing and one thing only. Pick up that pen, write down your fear and your worry, stand up, take a breath, sit down and respond to yourself. That's what I want you to do today. And gals, if you'd like help being walked through an exercise similar to that one, other ones like that one, join me this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That's October 3, 4, and 5 for the It's My Time Sobriety Seminar. I'm going to walk you through some exercises like that one, which will help you get some real inside clarity on yourself, your journey, and your future, what you need, what happened in the past, and where you're going. We're going to look at it in those 3 days. So you'll wake up in the morning with the sudden realization, it's my time. Let me know you're coming by going to the show notes, tapping that link, and I will send you back the information on how to get there, where to be, and when. Gals, this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the It's My Time 3-day sobriety seminar. Let's do this together before Black Friday and all the other nonsense starts, and we're swept away into 2026. Thanks for popping in. Be sure to come back next time so I can keep your head on straight. Sending you buckets of love.